you jump over now, this is your invitation to do that for the last 10 minutes, to the book of Habakkuk. This is not the same book, all right? The problem with Habakkuk is not, I don't want to see those people be, I want to see those people be destroyed. That's not the Habakkuk's issue here. By the time you get to the book of Habakkuk, you have God basically telling the prophet, here's the message you have to give to the people. I am going to raise up Babylon to destroy Judah. Not entirely, not completely. There'll be a remnant that is saved. Isaiah talks about that a lot. And that remnant is going to be pulled out of Israel or Judah and taken into captivity and exile in Chaldea, into Babylon, which is remarkably ironic and fitting. And it's another example that happens a lot in the Bible of poetic justice, because the very, very beginning of Israel, the very beginning of the Hebrew people come from one man, Abraham, who in the beginning was in Ur of the Chaldees. And God calls him out of Ur of the Chaldean land to this Canaan land. He travels the Fertile Crescent, goes all the way back into Canaan. He crosses over the Jordan, so they call him the one who crossed over, Hebrew. And they call him this Hebrew guy because he came from this other place. He came from the Chaldean place. And then God said, here where you put your feet, I'm going to give you this land and it'll be yours. And then his descendants sin, and guess what? Sin, till God says, you know what? I'm not getting through to you. I'm just going to put you in time out. I'm going to take you out of the land that I gave you, and I'm going to put you back where your great-grandpappy came from. You're going back to the Chaldean land. We're going to start over. And so off they go. This is the message that Habakkuk is being told to deliver to the people. Habakkuk, instead of just saying, okay, got it, and go preach to him like Jeremiah does, Habakkuk says, wait a minute. You are going to raise up this wicked, terrible, evil nation to destroy your people? And God basically says, yeah, that's the plan. Go tell them. That's your job. Go tell them. But wait, I know the people are bad. This is throughout chapter 1. I know the people are bad and they're wicked and they don't do right things, but you cannot use an even worse nation to punish this nation. You can't use Babylon against Judah. That's chapter 1. And God in chapter 2 says, I'm sorry, did you just say I can't do something? Bucko, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to explain why I'm going to do it. That's chapter 2. Then you open chapter 3, and Habakkuk's like, I made a big mistake in chapter 1. I'm very, very sorry. You're very, very good. That's basically the gist of Habakkuk in a nutshell. So let's just dive right into it. Chapter 1:1. The burden. You'll get this a lot with prophetic books. The word of doom upon. The heavy weight of judgment that is being laid on this nation or person or peoples. In this case, it's going to be Judah. The burden which Habakkuk the prophet did see, and I can guarantee as you go through this book, he wished he hadn't. The burden which Habakkuk did see. His name Habakkuk means to embrace. Ironic, since he is not one for embracing. As we go through this book, you'll see. Verse 2. O Lord, how long shall I cry and you will not hear? Even cry out to you about all this violence and you will not save. Now, the point here is he's saying your people in the streets are being abused. They're being beaten up. They're being demolished. They're being brutalized. And they're crying out and you don't care. You aren't listening. You don't see them. You're not paying attention to them. You've turned your back on them. Why have you done this to all of us? Well, he hasn't. Feels like that sometimes. The psalmist does that a lot in his prayers. I think it was just a way the Hebrews talk to God. Whenever they stub their toe. Oh God, why have you abandoned me? Well, just next time, watch where you're walking. But that's just the people of Israel. So God, how long shall I cry and you not listen? And talk about all this violence coming on your people and they're crying for deliverance and you're not rescuing them. You're not saving them. Verse 3. Why do you show me iniquity and cause me to behold grievance? And what that means is, why am I being forced to sit here and see all the evil that's happening around me and not see your rescuing of it, your fixing it, your judgment against it? I just had to look every day and night and just see wickedness everywhere. Why are you causing me to see this? What are you seeing, Habakkuk? Middle of verse 3. Spoiling and violence are before me. Those who raise up strife and contention are all around me. I'm seeing a people that have completely lost their way. He's not talking about Babylon. He's talking about his people. He's talking about Judah. Everywhere he sees disunity and fighting, strife and contention. He sees destruction and violence, spoiling. Verse 4. He sees a place where the legal system has been turned against the people and it's been abused by people with power and authority and money and so forth. So he says, verse 4, the law is slacked. The law is not upright. The law is now unable to do its job. And judgment, justice literally, is not going forth. Justice is not being spread over the world or over the land. Because wicked people are surrounding the righteous and wrong judgment proceeds. It's going everywhere. Are there righteous people in Judah? Yes, Isaiah calls them the remnant. this faithful few that God is going to through them preserve, and through them will come the Messiah. Habakkuk sees them too, but he's taking the approach of, look how small they are. They're outnumbered. They're surrounded by evil people, and they're being bullied. And why, God, are you allowing the bullying? And then he looks over the horizon, and he sees an even bigger bully coming in. And he says, all of this just seems very unjust. This seems very unfair. Have you ever felt the world was unfair? Have you ever told God about it? This is Habakkuk. The wicked are surrounding the righteous, and wrong judgment as opposed to right judgment. Judges who judge according to the law and do what is right with their judgments. No, they're out of here. Now we've got corrupt judges who are being bribed and paid off and are doing what fits their political agenda and not what is righteous. But enough about America. Verse 5. Behold you among the heathen, and regard. That joke works under any administration, by the way. Behold among the heathen, verse 5, and regard, and wonder marvelously. Now he's talking to Judah. For I will work a work in your days, which you will not believe, though it be told you. Judgment of doom, a bad time, is coming for you, Judah. He has looked around Judah, the prophet has, and he has seen only wickedness and only evil. And he's looked up at God, and he thinks what he's seeing is inaction. Really, all he's seeing is patience. All he's seeing is God has a plan. There's a timetable. It will be fulfilled when God's ready for it to be fulfilled. You just need to sit down and wait. And that's what God will tell him in chapter 2. But if he doesn't do it today, clearly he's not ever going to do it, is the attitude many of us take. So he says to his people, regard, look closely, wonder marvelously, be in awe of what's about to happen. And it's not going to be a pretty light show. It's judgment coming. Verse 6, here it is. For lo, I raise up the Chaldeans. This is Habakkuk speaking, but he's a prophet. So this is God speaking through him. For lo, I raise up the Chaldeans, that's Babylon, that bitter and hasty nation, my Bible says, which shall march through the breadth of the land to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs. So here's this people, southeastern Iraq, southwestern Iran in the modern day. Babylon started out as a little city-state. They were just a kind of an extension, a vassal of the Assyrian Empire. And they rise up to become this mighty, humongous, powerful known world dominating force. Before that happened, it was so unfathomable that Babylon would become this dreaded danger. It will be like a prophet today saying, America, if you don't repent, God will raise up Jamaica and will destroy us. Yeah, exactly. Now imagine being the prophet on the street corner saying the end is nigh. And you say, well, how nigh is it? Babylon is coming. And I can't even find that on a map. Babylon is coming. And they're going to be so big. They're going to be, my Bible says, bitter and hasty, spitefully angry and fast moving, like a rushing wave. A flood of hate is charging in over your city, Jerusalem and Judah in general. They're going to march through the breadth of the land, and they're going to possess a dwelling place that is not theirs. They're going to take your land for themselves. Verse 7. They are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity shall proceed of themselves. Their reputation precedes them, and it ain't pretty. They are terrible. Literally, the word means frightful. They inspire terror when you see them. To see them is to quake. God, by the way, describes himself this way. Here, he ascribes a portion of that to Babylon, because in the context, Babylon is God's arm of justice. This is his whipping paddle. This is his board of education that he's about to pull over Judah's backside. And they are terrible and they are dreadful. We think of something dreadful. We use that word to mean scary. And it can, but in the Bible, the meaning of it is reverential. Not necessarily in the worship sense, but like you will be so in awe of it, you will fall down. You'll be overcome. You've never seen an army, and even if you've been in the military and so forth, you've never seen an army like this, whose reputation is so fearful that when they're marching towards you, you just crumple. Your legs turn to jelly. Your spine turns to spaghetti, and you just crumple. He says, this is what's coming to you. This wave of terror is marching to your city, Jerusalem. Verse 8, their horses are swifter than leopards, more fierce than the evening wolves. Their horsemen spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from afar. They shall fly like an eagle that hastes to eat. That last one, you probably have seen this one. Beautiful glistening pond. It's still, or lake, and it's still and quiet. Not a ripple to be found, and you're just sitting there relaxing. And all of a sudden you look and you see this brown eagle or hawk or something, and it's swooping in, and it's got its talons like that, and it dives into the water, barely under it, comes up, and there's a fish, and it just saw it, and grabs it. And he says, that's Babylon, and you're the fish. Now, this is a lot of hyperbole. This is it's intentionally designed to be, you've never seen anything this scary. Their horses are swifter than leopards. I don't even think that's physically possible, but it's hyperbole to get the point across that they're scary. Horses swifter than leopards. More ferocious than you're out in the middle of the night in the evening, under the evening moon, and you hear wolves start scurrying about, and they're coming after you. That's Babylon coming after you. Their horsemen surround you. So no matter which way you look, which way you might run, you're going to be running into somebody who's in their cavalry. And their cavalry is well trained. Verse 9, they all are coming for violence. They're not coming for supper. They are coming for violence. Their faces shall, my Bible says, sup up the east wind. I wrote down what that meant. Oh, to advance toward it. Locked in, eyes on the target. Their faces shall sup up like the east wind, locking in on you. And the east wind in old literature is the bad wind. You want the western wind. That's coming from the Mediterranean. That's cool and pleasant and nice. East wind is bitter and arid and dry and desert. They're coming at you like a ferocious, nasty, ugly east wind. And they're going to gather the captivity as the sand. East wind, dry. They're coming for you. Verse 10. And they shall scoff at the kings, and the princes shall be a scorn unto them. They shall deride every stronghold. They shall heap dust and take it. They're going to look at you, Judah. They're going to stand up on their mountaintop overlooking all the many hills and mountains of the region. And they're going to look over Judah, and they're going to see these settlements here, and they're going to laugh. And they're going to see these princes and rulers here, and they're going to mock. And they're going to come across the kings of Judah, and they're going to think, this is their king? Do you think Jehoiakim is going to strike fear into Nebuchadnezzar or Nebuchadnezzar or any of those guys? No, at all, not at all, hardly. Jehoiakim is going to fold like a cheap accordion the moment he has a conversation with Babylon's forces come to town. Later, his son's going to become king, and he's going to just hand over the temple to be plundered and desecrated. Then Zedekiah is going to be put on the throne, and he'll rebel. He's basically pushed into rebelling by not paying his tribute, and they're going to come in and just wipe the floor with him, and he's going to put up the amount of resistance of a toddler against an elephant. No, they're not looking at the kings of Judah being like, ooh, it's a formidable challenge. They're going to be looking like an elephant sees an ant. And they just step over them. 11. Then shall his mind change, and he shall pass over and offend, imputing that his power is unto his God. At this point in the reading, you might be thinking that God is on the side of Babylon, because it sure seems like they're talking them up and stuff. And you're going to look at the destruction that Babylon's going to do to Judah, and look at how they're carrying out God's vengeance, and you're going to think, has Babylon become God's new nation? No. Babylon is just a tool. Babylon is a hammer. God just put the nail on Judah, and he told the hammer to strike because Judah keeps sinning. They're just a sword wielded by God. In fact, Habakkuk even intimates here that Nebuchadnezzar, who's not named, but he's going to be the ruler when Babylon conquers Judah, that as he sweeps over Judah, that Nebuchadnezzar is going to offend God because God has raised up this Babylonian king to do his attacking of his people. And Nebuchadnezzar is supposed to be going along with that. Instead, he's going to say, oh, this is all me. Look at what I have done. Look at what my gods have done. And God is going to be like, I'm sorry, what? And he's going to punish him. That's Daniel chapter 4 for that. So it's just a hint there in the inspired record that no, God is not on the side of Babylon. It's just God is not on the side of Judah right now. And he's just using Babylon, to spank them. Verse 12. Now Habakkuk has heard this prophecy and he's delivering this message. So he just stops, time out, turns back to God, and he says, aren't you from everlasting? Verse 12. Are you not from everlasting, O Lord my God, my Holy One? We shall not die, O Lord. You have ordained them for judgment, and Almighty God, you have established them for correction. One word can entirely change the meaning of this verse. And here, there is a word that may or may not be improperly inserted into the text. And it is the word we. And in my Bible, it says, we shall not die. Now, you might have a different translation. I'm going to read mine again. It's the beginning of the verse. Are you not from everlasting, O Lord my God? Everybody's Bible say basically that. Then, my Holy One. My Bible says, we shall not die. What does your Bible say? Everyone say we? Okay. You? That's the alternative. All right. If Habakkuk is saying we shall not die, it depends on the manuscript. If Habakkuk is saying we shall not die, then he's basically putting his trust in God ultimately to save Judah. And he's just kind of angry that if this is how it's supposed to be, that you're not going to let us go, then why is all this happening? That's all option A. Option B is he's just describing God. Is you shall not die, you are from everlasting, you are from old, you always have been. You have this perspective, you should see, you should be knowing who's good and bad here, who's righteous and unrighteous here, who's your people and who's not your people. You've been around long enough to know Babylon's not your people. He's assuming that's how God thinks of it. So, two different ways to look at it. It's going to lead to the same thing, which is just, how dare you, God, do this to us? And that's basically chapter 1, though we have a few more verses. We'll pick it up, finish 1, go into 2 next week. Thanks, everybody.